All right. Welcome to Awesome 10X Kids Parents Orientation. This is in partnership with Mommy Mundo. Give the gift of global stocks as an awesome 10X gift to your kids this Christmas 2020. So today is the orientation session for those parents who are not yet members of Awesome 10X, or if you're part of the Awesome 10X group already. This is a great opportunity to know more about this campaign, no? And maybe you can help us with this campaign. Can you see this, guys? All right. So we're doing a kids global stock investing camp on Saturday, 2 p.m. That will be led by Nikki. And today aims to answer all questions for parents for this program. So we were doing a live camp with Nikki, talking to the kids. Okay, talking to the kids, teaching the kids about stock investing. I actually talked to my kids about stock, and they asked me, "Ano ba yung stock? Uh, ano ba yung stock? You know, what is business?" And sometimes, if you're not into stock investing, it's kind of hard to explain that to the kids. Nikki actually has experience teaching with the kids, you know, advanced math, and in the past. So we're trying to also teach our kids, the next generation of Filipinos, on how to globally invest in the stock market. Now, the whole concept is inspired by this idea. You know, this investor just inherited 7,000 shares of Apple, and the internet has advice on what you should know. So the the lolo, the grandfather, bought 7,000 shares in 2003 and gave it to the grandchild today in 2020. So millions of dollars na yung there are millions of dollars valuation for the kids with and or talking to Nikki about it. Hey guys, this is really a great initiative, and I guess a good souvenir also. You know, when we 10, 20 years from now, when we talk about 2020, what did we do? We made the best investment into the stock market. So hi Nikki, good evening.
Hi, evening. I'll listen na lang to you, and then if you have any questions, I'll just answer.
Yes. So we'll give them an overview first, and then we'll if they have any questions or any clarification also. So
Mm-mm.
so this investor, 7,000 shares of Apple, imagine, and they were saying that and our campaign is, instead of just buying our kids gadgets this year, instead of buying Nintendo Switch or Sony PlayStation, why not also buy them the gift of stock? Our kids can really own the business, you know, the company of Nintendo and
Sorry.
Sony. And we're actually teaching parents and our kids on how to do this. Now, I always tell some of our students that this is the chart of Nasdaq. Nasdaq is 12,000 range already, and Nasdaq is the index for technology stocks. And this is really the start of the next technology boom. Okay, it was accelerated by the pandemic, and there are a lot of technology companies that are going IPO today. It's like being able to invest in Facebook when it's starting, being able to invest in Tesla when it was starting. It's like being able to invest in Amazon when we're starting. So, one of the exciting IPO this year is a software company called Unity. I guess most people would know Pokemon Go. My wife we plays Pokemon Go. Did you know that there's a software like a Photoshop or Adobe Premiere that created that game, and that software is called Unity. Unity debuted in the IPO this year, and it opened at $64, and now it's $150 today. And it already doubled in market share. Now, um, we wanted the kids to see how investing their money, not just saving it or putting it in the bank, but investing it into technology company. Now, the reason it's also very timely we're doing this because there are actually two blockbuster IPO that's coming up. The first one is Roblox. Roblox is will have an IPO this December, and a lot of our kids are playing this game, Roblox Universe, and they're going to the IPO. Our kids can own the Roblox universe. One share, two shares, and this is the best time to enter the stock market and have the gift of stocks for our kids. The other one is Airbnb. I think Airbnb IPO is actually being covered by local news flow also here. And they were saying it will open next week, December 9, December 10. The projection for travel, so we do food and travel, is next year we'll start revenge travel, and we'll go all the way to 2024. And in a pandemic, you know who wins? It's actually Airbnb because people would go to remote places, they would go to road trips to places that nobody has been to. They would stay in Airbnb, and that will just explode the entire business of Airbnb. And they're actually going into the stock market next week. And that's why we're kind of doing all this campaign this week to be able for you to set up to be ready for this. And of course, on Saturday, Nikki, my partner Nikki, will talk to the kids. Of course, we'll have to let the kids. Parang the idea is, okay, here's the idea. The idea is lahat ng mga ampaw, if you have savings in the bank for the kids, pull it all together, all the, you talk to your ninong and ninang and ask them, instead giving them something, just give them a stock, one stock, pull it all together and invest it. The idea is to buy it today and don't withdraw it for the next 10, 20 years. Maybe until they grew up, no? Until they turn 21. And for sure, those investment, of course, we're expecting it to 10x in value during the time. And you can tell the story, the best thing you've ever done during the pandemic 2020 is buying the gift of stock to your kids. No, it can be done for parents, grandparents, ninong and ninang, and it's actually one of the greatest thing that could happen in 2020. Maybe, Nikki, can you add to this? Maybe what's your point of view in terms of how the stock market is growing and why we're doing it today?
So the reality is, most of the Filipinos today, usually every Christmas, they spend their time with their family. We felt that one of the really inspiring things, Anton mentioned that a grandfather actually gave a gift to his grandson, thinking that he wouldn't be able to afford a tuition fee. Instead of giving him a huge lump sum of money, he instead said that his grandson was going to be given 7,000 shares. Lo and behold, that 7,000 shares happened to be a fruit company, which was Apple. So that was year 2003, and in 17 years, that 7,000 shares of Apple was actually worth $3.2 million. So I tried to back test what that 7,000 shares of Apple was costing. It was something in the realm, in my view, of about $10 when he bought it, year 2003. So $70,000 was actually able to capture the S-curve of the smartphone era. Of course, when he was buying it in year 2003, he wasn't aware that by year 2008, 2009, 2010, that Apple would introduce the smartphone, the very first iPhone, the iPad, the tablets that we take for granted today. And of course, going forward, all the Apple stores, app stores. And the thing about the great businesses is that what I've always discussed with children and parents is that investing doesn't have to start with the older kids. It can start to people as young as a 7-year-old child. So we actually introduced the Awesome 10X Kids Camp to explain that investing is not some highfalutin jargon. It could be something as easy as a video game category, given that children are indeed playing video games. One of the best 10x industries, not just in the last decade, but also in the ensuing next decade, is of course the publishers, the platforms where most of your kids are already in. According to industry experts, you've got about 2.6 hours a day. We have around 150 million monthly daily average users aged 13 years old inside the Roblox universe playing millions of games, not necessarily playing. Some of them are teenagers who are actually earning also money from simply creating these games. So there's a lot of things. It doesn't have to be just video games. We always mention that as a child, we know that children love chocolates and sweets. So chocolates and sweets are exemplified by really huge companies, whether it be Hershey's, junk food companies like there are junk food companies like in the Philippines, there will be those URC, Universal Robina, and of course in the US, there's the Doritos, which is Pepsi. Pepsi owns your Doritos, Frito-Lay. We actually gave a free Friday free Friday class about the Awesome 10X Kids Camp. You can actually search it on Awesome 10X. We did it last week to explain to the parents that investing doesn't need to take a huge amount of money. It doesn't have to be $100, $500. Well, typically, you can really open an account as low as $100, agree 5,000 pesos. Of course, you can open an interactive brokers account. That is what we prefer. Although you can open any account, actually. There's eToro, there's eTrade, Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, so forth, no? I'd be sharing like some snippets of I mean I'll share to you the Awesome 10X Slides Kids Camp. Wait up. Wait lang. Well, I mean while it's opening, while it's loading, my hope is that it's gonna be more of an interactive affair wherein the children will be the ones to actually choose the companies that they wanna own. And then so basically we'll give them companies that they are aware of. Of course, it's going to be kid friendly. So we'll try to go into topics that kids can understand, whether it be food, athletic companies, especially for children who play basketball or any football game, or even toys. Of course, we'll discuss maybe they would understand a Hasbro or a Mattel. Mattel is the Barbie. Hasbro owns your Monopolies and Scrabble. So, or even just the simple Disney, if they know Frozen or Anna and Elsa. So this was really the slides wherein we said, Awesome 10X Kids Camp, top stocks to give as gifts to your loved ones and children. We will assist children and their parents to actually help their children create a balanced portfolio. So this is an example of a balanced portfolio. As a child, the child just identifies which of these are companies that they have been aware of. So some children will probably be aware of TikTok. Some children will be aware of Nintendo Switch, of H&M, of Nike, of Miniso, of Ragnarok, which is Gravity. Probably some hamburgers. Maybe they don't know the brands. We'll put some logos and we'll try to test your children whether they know some of these brands, and we'll test them if they can actually become very, very profitable investors in the future. So this is amazing stories, $10,000 to $15 million, Apple and Amazon. Amazon was $10,000 to $16 million after 23 years. These are like excellent investments for the children because children are very much using online shopping, online delivery. So these are, of course, great investments in Southeast Asia. Children know perhaps fast food brands. What's interesting is that we can attach a 10x secular trend today to some fast food brands. given that Beyond Meat has partnered with with KFC and Pizza Hut, which are all Yum China. So there's also Beyond Meat in Starbucks. There's also Impossible Foods with Burger King. And we can discuss the trends with Coca-Cola, even if most people just think that it is a soft drink company. Even like the likes of example, the children knows about these characters. How would we actually teach children investing if all that we ever did as a parent was to give them a toy? So I think that it's gonna be a marshmallow test. It's gonna be interesting how children will learn stocks. Because personally, it's gonna be also my first time to see children react. So I don't know if children will understand me. The hope is that they will choose a Nintendo stock rather than getting the Nintendo Switch, because of the fact that if they bought the Nintendo stock 3 years ago, they would have gotten a free Nintendo Switch and they would have gotten more games for free if they kept on plowing on that Nintendo stock. Similarly, we can do the same pattern for, let's say, investing in some apparel clothing right now. If they are interested with buying H&M or Nike or Miniso, I mean, goods from Miniso. So right now, the pandemic offered a lot of great discounts, discount retailers, varieties. You've got a lot of categories. We're setting categories on easy things that children will understand. Video games, movies, entertainment, maybe some fashion, e-commerce, athleisure apparel, some global franchises. Maybe they eat these junk food without knowing who the makers are, or maybe they are breakfast cereal or chips, chocolate, soft drinks, foods. Usually the sweet stuff. I'll add also some toy companies there. So, children used to play with their parents. I think that it is a good bonding moment for parents and children to actually have, you know, uh, I think like even if that child only has one share of Nintendo, which is currently trading at $70, so 70 times 50 is about 3,500 pesos. It's actually cheaper than Nintendo stock. Then it's actually cheaper than the Nintendo Switch itself. So you'd actually teach your child not just to invest one share, $70, one share of Sony PlayStation, something like that. You're teaching that child to actually grow up knowing that the companies that are the best are the ones that he wants to keep. So if he had like a Santa stocking list and he bought these Roblox and stuff, it's not about whether he actually makes 100% or 200% in a year, although that is something that we hope to actually achieve. The purpose really is for that child to grow up knowing that he can actually make money on companies that he can identify with. At the end of the day, we don't want the child to have a portfolio that is mimicking us. We want that child to create that portfolio for himself, whether that child wants to insert games. And we will just explain what these companies are doing in the best kiddie form that we can. So what does PlayStation do? What does Nintendo Switch do? Of course, we don't discuss about the revenues, although I'll try my best to explain what 150 million people playing Roblox means. Diba? I mean, those are like statistics that I can share, and I hope that the children will appreciate that too. Attention span, hopefully they understand me. It is a little bit of a challenge on my end then, if they could really understand me. But these are like the sample categories that we will be discussing in that show. In that kids camp. So it's gonna be a Saturday. We invite the parents to actually be with their children, because we kind of want the parents to help actually organize. I mean, end of the day, who's gonna open the account? Alangan naman the child. I know that right now inside Interactive Brokers, you can create a sub account, and that sub account could just have less than $300 or $500. There's really no minimum. So whether you're buying makeup for your child, let's say you have a fashionista child and you want the child to actually appreciate that, maybe that child would appreciate having some Uniqlo, Zara, Don Quixote that's listed in Hong Kong. in Japan, and then Perfect Diary, there's a lot. Like the thing about the US and the global markets is that they can own Kering, they can own LVMH, if they're fashionista talaga. So they can even own chocolates and stuff. So yun, it will be, I think, an interesting topic. I'll learn about what the children's parents' interests are, and based on Q&A, I'll just keep on answering ways to construct the portfolio. Will assist them. It's, let's say the client doesn't know how to open an account, those types of things. So open an account, how to set up that portfolio. Yun. So I think most children and most parents should learn even the basics of just creating a portfolio, and that is really what the topic of this Global Kids Camp going to be. It's the Awesome 10x Kids Camp. We'll discuss the best 10x trends that are happening even on companies that everyone knows about. But the thing about it, even if you are using these brands or already patronizing these brands, I think that our children will be amazed to know how much did Jollibee appreciate over the last 10 years, how much did Starbucks appreciate over the last 10 years, and how much would it appreciate in the next 10 years. So I'd like the child to explain to me whether he wants to own a McDonald's or a Shake Shack. I'll discuss the differences. I'll discuss how many millions of Chinese are eating Yum China today compared to 10 years ago. So there will be, at the end of the day, investing is not about being perfect. Investing is trying to just approximate the vision of the best businesses in the next 5 years, whether the growth will come from Shake Shack or continued domination of your Starbucks and McDonald's, or probably Jollibee rising at least to the top 3 or top 4 of the world. You never know, right? So those are interesting, I think, ideas, especially if the child grows up with Awesome 10X. So hopefully the Awesome 10X Kids Camp is just a start. Eventually they'll grow up. They'll be learning how much money that a Food Panda will make, how much money a Nintendo Switch makes. So you never know. Maybe the child could be a future portfolio manager for other people as well.
Yeah.
Those types of things.
All right. And maybe we'll end the session with the steps, no? So I'll try to share just to give a perspective on what are the next steps. So these are a few slides. How to make money while sleeping by investing globally in global trends. So this is the program, Awesome 10X. And the membership is actually 2,000 per month. Or most people would do 6 months at 10,000 pesos. But you can start for the kids like 2,000 per month membership. And you can join the kids camp. You can join the community of Awesome 10X investors. The first step really is to open an online broker account. So this one takes time. Actually, if you apply today, we recently just applied yesterday. We got approved today. And then you fund it today. So it takes like 2 or 3 days to set up your account. And as part of Awesome 10X service, we actually handhold each student, each member to set up the Interactive Brokers account. Now, of course, if you have other accounts, Ameritrade, Charles Schwab, it's also okay. Now, you can fund your account as low as $1,000, and you can add monthly. So, but for us, we have 4 boys. So we're getting all their savings saved in the past, all the, in the coin bank. And we'll try to approximate how much money they have. We'll allocate to them and then pull them into a fund. And then on Saturday, we'll ask them what are the stocks that they like to own. Instead of putting it in the bank, you buy one stock of Nintendo, Roblox, or whatever. Now, one of the misconception is you need a big capital to start global investing. That's not true. It could be $1,000. If you have a US dollar account, you can bank wire the money to Interactive Brokers. Or Nikki here can actually help you. If you have a peso, convert to dollar, and then fund your Interactive Brokers account. And then We have what we call the Awesome 10X system. This is for the parents, not really for the kids. You could watch it. The parents, if they decide to learn more about global investing, they can join the Awesome 10X classes, which happens every day. There's a Slack, there's a community, but not necessarily. If you just want to buy, a portfolio for the kids, you buy it and you hold it until they graduate. But of course, we will recommend the stocks that the kids could own.
That we've
With
also we will recommend companies that we think will be a great long-term investment. So there will be secular trends that we could discuss separately. But during the kids camp, of course, we won't explain why we like Roblox. Parang we won't deep dive each company pick. Nonetheless, we will make sure that the portfolio contents of that company, of those companies that we suggest, would at least have a secular trend behind it. So we'll try to give like better parang choose this, like that.
Yes. And it's really buying and sleeping. And you can follow us, Nikki, in Faceless Trader in Twitter. YouTube, our YouTube channel is Awesome 10X. Facebook is Awesome 10X. And the website is also Awesome 10X.
Awesome10x.com. Yeah, so Awesome 10x is really a co-found. So the co-founder is Anton and me. Our goal is really to help a wider group of Filipinos understand that investing does not have to be about timing. I think that is such a misconception. You have to understand that it's really more important about how much time you have in the market. And you really have to understand what are the secular trends that company is going to be a part of, especially in the next 10 years. It's not about the next 10 days. So you have to understand, is Roblox going to grow in the next 10 years? Is Nintendo going to grow in the next 10 years? And even if they've grown already in the last 10 years, what has happened in the last 10 years if you invested your children's money every December? Let's say it was just every December. So I'll give you some statistics. What would have happened if you invested in these 10 companies, which you probably already know about, and what could happen in the next 10 companies. So the beautiful thing is that right now, in the last 10 years, you've got Tencent, you've got Tencent, Sea Limited, right? Those are like the biggest video game conglomerates today. Activision. Can you imagine if you were investing in Tencent, Sea Limited, Activision 5 years ago, 10 years ago? Those are the types of investments that every fund manager would love to have and hold and keep. And they are really, I think it's a good lesson, not just for the child, but actually for the entire family. So one of my biggest regrets in my life was being really late in globally investing. However, when I learned that there's a way to make money, you don't need to really wake up. All of us just make money while sleeping. So I really wanted to share that notion and really demystify all the wrong misconceptions that you have to be awake at night, you need to have so much money just to invest globally. So, and it's not just for older people. Like I really wanted to demystify that. That's why we're trying to open this Awesome 10X Kids Camp. That child, even at 5 years old, 7 years old, as long as they can understand English, and a few of the logo brands, I guess they are fit enough to invest. Fit enough to invest with their parents' money, of course, since they're not yet earning money.
Yeah, may mga savings naman sila. So we'll open the floor for question and answer if there are any. You can actually open your audio or you can type it in the chat. If you have any questions. Now, one of the frequently asked question is if you're already an Awesome 10X member, can you attend the class? Of course, it's actually part of our membership services if you're already a member of Awesome 10X, because we encourage the parents who are investing now to really teach the kids and the next generation of Filipinos, the Gen Z kids. Guys, we have one of the biggest Gen Z kids in the world, no? And did you know that the Gen Z, one of their language and millennials are stock market already? We want our kids to be competitive in this space. No, we want our kids to be able to talk technology, to get ahead with technology, to talk about global investing, and that's actually one of our passion to teach the next generation of kids. Now, what we learned, what or ako personally I learned, if the parent does not know investing, mahirap turuan yung kid mag-invest also. And I learned this from the story from Nikki, no? Because her father knows investing, naturuan siya how to invest. Paano naman if your parents don't know how to invest? And that's why we're trying to form this awesome 10x kids to teach the kids, no? Parang we have to break that cycle, teach the next generation of Filipinos to learn how to globally invest. Paano ka ba
Yeah.
natuto, Nikki? Maybe you can share to them.
Um, so the reality is, in my entire family, I'm the only one who does stock market investments. My dad also does, but my dad mostly invested in Hong Kong. He initially started with the Philippine market as well. Initially, he also invested in the Ayala land. And then from Ayala land shares, he used it as his wedding funds. So I guess there was no such thing as diversification because I don't recall him telling me about other companies. He just said that I used the Ayala land shares for wedding fund. But I think that what I learned from my own family is that your cash cannot just stay in the bank. Like even until now, my dad tells me na, you have to teach your siblings, you have to teach other people. They're actually happy for me to teach because they think that number one, I think they find it my way of being kind. It's a way of course, they said that charity is about giving people your attention and time. It doesn't have to be giving your money. And then, of course, if people are giving that attention to you, you might as well use that time to help them actually in something that will really benefit them. So I find that one of the biggest problems of most Filipinos is really just the lack of knowledge in where that money should be in. That's why the core of Awesome 10X is really to find avenues to invest that aren't just earning 10% returns. Yes, I understand that there's a sector of people that are already rich. They've got the businesses, they've made 10x in their businesses, such that they don't need to 10x their money in stock investments. However, in my view, I think there's just too much wrong things being taught to the public that they needed to have a fund manager, that they can't do this for themselves, that they just need to invest in index funds. It's as if they were destined to fail if they did it themselves. And I feel as if that was such a wrong notion. And I wanted to correct that wrong notion, even if I do it one person at a time. So I did the YouTube with Awesome 10X. This is a everyday show. It's actually also free Friday classes to help. Actually, so every day we've got a market update, and then every Friday we invite you to sit into our free Friday class deep dives, wherein we expose you to the best companies, even one class, one day in a week, once a week, right? So in the hopes that you will find your 10x companies for yourself, because end of the day, the gift that will keep on giving is not to give you the fish, but to really teach you how to fish. So the children can learn, the parents can learn. Over time, our goal here is long-term wealth creation. So even in money advice, we also teach people that we aren't expecting them to invest all their money in stocks. We even actively preach asset allocation, helping them to think in 10x ways to improve their current situation. So maybe their situation is they're in a tight job. Like right now, the market is really hard. I'm talking about the job market. So the job market is hard. So many people have lost their jobs. They're looking for ways to augment their income. So we told them to actually learn investing. So because when you learn investing, there are people that you could teach as well. And eventually, of course, whether that is initially yourself, you will already
Yeah. So, um, if you have any questions, let us know if you have questions or clarifications for the program. And we're so excited about this opportunity. I think this is an opportunity to end 2020. And some people ask us, we're not managing your money. We're teaching you to how to manage your money. Yes, Nikki.
sorry, I got disconnected. Yeah, I think I'm just happy. I really don't know I don't know how I learned, but I think the seeds really happened because my dad encouraged me. At the end of the day, my dad told me to just really look into the world. So, of course, a parent's love is more important than anything else. And so yun, parang they told me na, so I really thought, what if you don't have any money? So the first 10x mindset is the fact that you don't need capital to make money. Capital is your brain. So, so if you have a brain, then you think of something that you can sell. In my case, I think that my expertise is to teach people how to make money through the market. So that's Awesome 10x Business, an education company, but also help people invest for themselves. So how could they invest for themselves if they don't know how to allocate? So yun, sometimes it's as simple as automating things. Like if they only have 100,000 pesos a month, they can only allocate, in my view, a guideline is 25% or 25,000 pesos. Because no matter if you want to invest the entire 100,000, it could fail. And that is the worst thing that could happen to somebody who, money is relative. Eh. It could be big to me, it could be small to you. End of the day, what we want to teach people is to grow their wealth properly. So they will grow their cash because they still need cash for emergencies. But at the end of the day, after they reach a certain cash level for emergency funds, then they can deploy that to global stocks. Then they would, I'm happy to actually see that some of our clients are so happy with their investing journey with Awesome 10X that they tell me that they're so inspired that they want to earn so much more money so that they could invest 25% of whatever money they have back to their interactive brokers. So they keep on adding because I know that one day that $10,000 they started, even if they grew it to 15,000, is gonna be really $100,000 or $200,000, something that they can withdraw and actually probably buy a house, even if it's well not a house, but maybe a very small place, right? So I think that what inspires me is the fact that Awesome 10X is able to help everyone from the client with just $5,000 to really, really high net worth clients. We have been, I'm blessed that Awesome 10X was able to capture even non-Filipinos. So because the platform is worldwide, global, we were able to touch other friends from Norway, USA, OFWs abroad, and I think that it's such a good thing to see how OFWs, overseas Filipino workers, are now able to really earn. So some of our clients are OFWs. Their 6 digits is also earning 6 digits, and this is in dollar form. So that is really a wonderful thing, right? To help them earn, but in the end, so I think like I'm not sure if it's right to say that okay, so our mission really as a business is the bottom line of our business is to help the bottom line of thousands of investors. So
Yes.
families and so forth.
Yeah.
So, and the fact, yeah, and all the classes are recorded, guys. So it can be accessed anywhere you are because our classes are not just for the Filipinos, even if you're in a different time zone, Canada, um, whatever time zone really, you can watch it, and we will be happy to cater and answer your questions individually if you want. You can always like just schedule a portfolio consultation with us, with your child, etc. Whatever you really want, and we'll be happy to cater to those types of needs.
Okay.
Just schedule.
May mga questions sa YouTube channel. So the
Sige,
stay-at-home mom
questions.
asked, recommended age of kids for this program. Is there a minimum required amount of investment?
So I think like we really actively pitch diversified portfolio. So hopefully the child can have at least maybe 5 companies. So if you're $100 per company, probably $500 is a good gauge. Like I know it's such a big gift, 25,000 pesos for a child. Think of it as birthday gift plus Christmas gift plus so many ang paus gifts for that child. Or
Parang
maybe like,
combined na.
yeah, like, or probably $200 per child. I don't know what type of gift you want to give your child, but yeah, we could start with something like that. Because what will happen is you open an account, we'll help you open an account, and then you'll just do sub accounts for your child. Well, right now, I know that IBKR allows one sub account. So example, NICU has NICU 1. So NICU 1 could be my child, and I could just put there 2 shares of Nintendo or 2 shares of Sony. That's it. That's for my child, and I keep it for him or her. That's it. But what we want is the child to be actively aware of what he owns. So hopefully, like every month, the child knows, at the very least, he knows how much is my Nintendo share today, how much is my McDonald's shares, or how much is my Jollibee shares. The interesting story is that if he bought, let's say, I know this is just, inspiring stories, but if my memory is correct, like if you bought IPO of Jollibee 9 pesos, of course, Jollibee right now is trading at 200 pesos. So let's say you've bought 1,000 shares. So 9,000 pesos is 200,000 pesos after 20 years. Plus you've got the cash dividends. So it's almost as if you taught your child you taught the child na instead of consuming Chicken Joy, 10,000 pesos worth of Chicken Joy, you want that child to buy 10,000 pesos worth of Jollibee so that he can have free Chicken Joys every year, courtesy of his 10,000 shares of Jollibee. Or it could have been the Coca-Cola investments or the Starbucks or all these URC Chips Ahoy, URC Chippy, the Piatos, the VCAT. Even if we make a local context, just to reiterate the point that they can make money from stocks long term, I think those are very important precepts. So I'm going to give examples like junk food stocks, of course, your Coca-Colas. Your Starbucks went from 33 cents to $100 in the last 23 years. And of course, the famous story is that Warren Buffett bought Coca-Cola in 1988. It was a 25x move for him. The story of these companies are all similar. It's all about high quality long-term investments. It's all about the fact that they are growing businesses. They have cash flows. It's not about being the first to go 100%. It's about owning something that the destination will be 1 to 2 or 1 to 5 or 1 to 10. Those are the important concepts that we are teaching here. So yun, the child, I think the minimum age would be something in the age of 7, only because I feel as if, actually, I don't know the proper age.
7 years old.
Kasi the typical age really would be good mga 12 to 13 years old. But I think even the 7 to 10 years old might appreciate our topic. Kasi because we won't be doing a lot of jargon anyway. Like it's gonna be a lot of brands. It's a lot of, it's a lot of brands, a lot of images. It's about what Disney does, which they probably know already, but they have no idea that, so I can just go own Disney shares and I can have a free Disneyland trip someday. Of course, that is true if you've invested in Disney about I can't remember, 1960, I think, or 1970, like 50 years ago. Warren Buffett bought Disney shares at about 45 cents. I mean, just imagine that. 45 cents. That was the time that they were just building the first theme park ride of the Pirates of the Caribbean. I read that in some narrative story. I
Wait,
was like thinking, wow.
may mga question. Derek said, will I open a new account under my child's name? Mix it with my
No
account.
need.
So you answered it, di ba? So you
Um,
have to separate it.
so your current account can already open a sub account. So example, you already have an Interactive Brokers account. All you just need to do is create a sub account, and it will take a day for them to approve it. But once it's open, then you can already transfer your shares. So you buy it on your real account, then transfer those shares to your child. You can
Yeah.
do that.
Yung sa amin,
So parang you're transferring shares.
yung sa amin kasi
Or
we
you
have
can just transfer funds. That's also okay.
so we're
Two accounts is fine too.
account. Wait, there's a question from
Sila Anton, two accounts sila. Okay, what's the other question?
comment. Thank you, Nikki, for offering these videos for free. Hoping to join Awesome 10X in 2021. Avid followers of yours in Twitter. Solid insights every day, Nikki. Benedict Lasala.
Thank you.
And we have a
Thanks,
question
Ben.
from Mark here. If we have a conflict on Saturday, 2 p.m., will the class be recorded and can it be accessed through Slack or whatever? I think what we're doing is we're doing this first session live, recording it, and we'll be uploading the recorded videos and turn it into a program in awesome10x.com. All right.
Yeah, so we'll try to be at, I guess that when you're talking to your child, actually we'll just give you like worksheets to help your child. I think like more than just talking to the child, we hope that the parent is there to assist the child. So whether that child is 7 years old or 9 years old, end of the day, we want to talk to the parent to assist the child. Kasi if the child said, I want Roblox, I want Airbnb, so hopefully, hindi naman sila makaka-press niyan eh. And I think like I'm gonna discuss also some technology names that they are already aware of. Like SoftBank owns TikTok. There's a company like Food Panda. I would assume that the children also know food delivery and shopping and all of that. I will also assume that some children also know how to do Zoom video conferencing, since we're gonna talk with them through Zoom classes. So sometimes popular companies will also be listed there just for just for them to see if they want to also invest in those types of businesses, diba? Yun,
Right.
mm-mm.
That's it. Maybe we can close it. There are no more questions. Maybe invite them, Nikki, to our class on Saturday.
Yeah. So Awesome 10X truly believes that the best bottom line that we could do as a business, our mission is really to help the bottom line of thousands of our investors and ordinary students. So our goal is really to help more Filipinos, more non-Filipinos invest globally in the best companies for their parents, for their children, etc. So we do invite all of you to learn about investing. It's not for us, it's for you and your future, especially for your children. So hopefully you like, subscribe, and attend our classes, and share our YouTube show to your friends. Thank you very much.
All right.